Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Mod Your World. And last time we talked about effects and the different things that you could achieve using the built-in entity system in Hammer. And this time we'll talk briefly about making your buildings using the carve tool and how quick and easy it is. I've already sketched out a simple map. I have a building and a little bit of a sky and then a block protruding from the ground. And if we go under the map, we'll see that I have created another brush under the map that's hollowed out with that block sticking through it. Now the reason I did this is because I wanted to mark where I want my entrance to the underground base to be if I was making an underground base. So I'm going to select my brush that I've got sticking through the ground here, and then I'm going to go to Tools and then Carve. And now I'm going to delete this brush, and we'll see that I have carved a hole where that block used to be, perfectly square hole in the ground, and it can be any shape that you want it to be. If you used any of the other shapes over here from your primitives menu, it could be a cylinder, it could be a spike, a torus, wedge, anything, and then you can just simply make a walkway so the players can get down here. Now if you move down your camera and you see the black space here where the brushes were once meeting and are no longer, you can fix that by dragging your brush up just a little bit. And you go down some with that, just a little bit. Yeah, that should have got it. Yeah, there we go. And I don't lose anything, and I'm not having to reorganize my brushes inside the map. It's real simple and real quick. And I'm going to fill in this hole now with a ramp using the wedge tool from the primitives menu. I'll just draw out a new one. Create our brush, and then we'll rotate it 90 degrees, and then we'll rotate it again 180, and then 90, which I think is like a total of 270. I'm not sure. I just normally rotate it until it's facing the direction I need it to be in. I'm going to drag this up, and we'll resize it here so it lines up. Alright, I think that looks okay. Let me fill this out some more. Okay, and I'll change the texture because we don't want to look at a striped ramp. Let's go to concrete, and I will use this texture here. Apply. You notice I have a little bit of a lip on the brush. That's okay, we can fix that. Select a brush. Let me deselect this. There we go, select that. Let's pull it up a little bit. Just a little bit. And we'll pull it back some. Just a little bit this way. That looks fine. And I'll drag it down. Okay, that'll be good for now since we're not trying to be perfect with it. You can fix this if you make one like it. So now the player can get down inside of our secret underground base. And I know it doesn't look like much, it's just showing you guys. And you can fill this in with all kinds of detail if you want to. It's actually easy to make a simple room like this. Just pick our brush again and then make sure we'll change it back to block. And then I'll draw out a new brush inside the room here. Enter. And I'll drag it over. Make sure it meets with the wall here. Pull it forward some more. And there we go. Make sure it's touching the ground. You don't want to shoot under the wall. Alright, so that's just one simple way you can start filling out this room. Once you've made it, make sure everything's touching on all the surfaces, the ceiling, floor, and this wall, and then we have created a sort of a hallway. And that didn't take but a few seconds, and that's just a simple, quick way you can go about making your level. And you'll find that you'll be doing that actually quite often when you're making levels. Now I've hollowed this building out too so that we could create an indoor area. But before I did that, let me show you how I made this brush. It's just a simple brush. Just drew out a box. And put this inside the level. I'll let it float for now. We'll drag it down later. Create it, and then Control H, and I'm hollowing it out 15. That's the width of our wall. On all sides, floor, ceiling, walls, all will be 15 inches thick. Okay. And if I fly inside here, I'll see that I've made another room, another building, or another room. You can use this in a number of different ways. You can actually dissect individual pieces of your brush using the Ignore Group tool, and then selecting one side of the brush face, like this side or this side, and then pressing delete. And then look at that. That could be a whole room with some detail and anything you want in there. Let's find something to put as a floor, like T-I-L-E, I think, tile. Yeah. Tile, and then concrete. And then use the fit tool. And then back to tile. Oops. T-I-L-E. And ceiling, and look, that could be a spawn room easily. And while I'm thinking about it, let me show you guys something else. You see how this texture isn't quite touching the floor, how there's white space there? You can fix this using your scale tool, and you can scale it up or down. The X is left and right. You'll see the wall. I don't know if you can tell it moving. There it goes. Alright, and I'll just reapply the original properties to it. And then up and down with the Y. So we'll just make that touch the ground there. And push it down some more so it's lined up. And then we'll just copy the properties over here. And all I did to do that was I selected this wall, and then I right click this wall, and it'll copy the properties that the textures on this wall has over to this wall. And I can do the same to this one, and what our result is a nice textured room with no white spaces between our floor and our wall textures, and it looks quite nice. Also, before you cut anything into your brush, if you're going to be doing some texturing work, like on the outside of your building, make sure you texture it first. That will save you time and keep you from having to refit textures to all your brush's surfaces. And also,